Hi guys, this is Roots South Africa and I'm talking about trends to avoid, and today's topic is going to be something interesting, and it is the American extremist culture. So what do I mean by that? Americans tend to be trendsetters, whether we love it or whether we hate it. They tend to be a society that sets trends. And once America's done it, that kind of means that the rest of the world follows. Whether it makes sense or not, the rest of the world seems to just adopt their culture and stick it into the cultures that are already there, even if they're conflicting. And that means we must all follow that route. Now, why am I thinking this is not the best idea? Well, firstly, it's extremist. It's either one way or the other. If you don't know anything about American politics, it is so literally left or right. Like they even say it themselves. There is no middle ground. But I find that is the view for a lot of American things. I don't know if anybody else has noticed this, but you either have to be ultra skinny, which is what's coming back in trend now, if anybody didn't know. It used to be ultra fat. It used to be an ultra fat thing. Everyone should have been ultra fat. And they were praising curvy bodies. And then it went real fat, like not even like a little bit ultra fat. Then it went obese. And that was that was trending. And now it seems to be ultra skinny again. So we just tend to take these things and put them into our society, even when they make no sense. Why can women, especially for the women, the men are just always fit. They just always have to be fit and healthy. They are depicted, at least in media, they always have to be fit. Like fat is never in for the men unless if you are on a social media show. But for the ladies, it seems like you are always waving between super skinny and super fat. There is no middle ground. There is no space for medium-sized bodies. You have to be on the extremists every single time. And we follow these trends. You can see it in the clothing items that we get imported, which is why in one of my Little Villages videos, I was saying, like, is medium and modest not an option anymore? Because every color, when I walk into the stores, especially when there's a specific family that starts a lot of trends in America. I don't need to mention who it is. They start a lot of trends, and now every single store is selling neutrals. All that they are selling are neutrals. It's like a different shade of caramel to brown to that suits very few women. Every store is selling it, and it's like maybe a little bit of a pinky tinge to it. Every store. That's the only colors we can get. Is that really the only colors that people want? Are we trying to depress our nation by just giving them like the same shade of different browns and pinks and not actually giving them options that look proudly South African, like our own identity? Do we have to adopt every single idea and idealism that the Americans come up with? And then we're going to go to feminism. I mean, at first, feminism was great. It was fabulous. I mean, fighting for people to have equal rights. Who doesn't want that? But once again, I've done 2 trend videos, and I seem to literally see a trend where it's no longer about people having rights. It's about people being more right. It's not about equal opportunity. It's about more opportunity. And feminism has taken off so much to the point where we degrade good, normal men. Just normal men, not anything special. We're all expecting like this Brad Pitt look-alike to walk into our lives. Women that I know are struggling to date. Single women that I know are not finding partners because they have their expectations so high, so unrealistically high. It's not even a little bit sensical. It's just complete, like, utter rubbish. And these are not women that are on the top of the attractive scale. And not that that matters. Obviously, they're beautiful, they're educated in their own ways. But at the same time, realistically, they could be with a perfectly normal guy with a good job, good education. They are out there, but because of feminism, that's not good enough anymore. We have to degrade and sort of take away the value that normal guys have, just normal people. And that's not good enough. Working towards a goal with your partner is not the end thing. You want to get a sugar daddy. That's what you want to do. You want to get into a relationship with someone who is immediately going to solve all of your problems. And that is the American culture. And you want to degrade yourself by sexualizing yourself to the point of extremist, where you're wearing no clothes on social media. This is not a thing in South Africa. Let me just tell you, it is very rare that women are putting their entire bodies, and I hope it continues, because I don't want to see everybody's boobs. I don't want to see everybody's private parts. I don't know why Americans think it is so fashionable. And this is not me saying that you can't be appreciative of your body, but that's not men appreciating your body. That's men just getting a free look at your body and you're giving it to them. And I suppose it is your decision at the end of the day. But I'm starting to report accounts that I feel like are just too much all the time. It cannot always be centered around making everything sexual, and it cannot always be centered about how right the woman feels. Men have rights too, and I would just like to put that out there. And then the celebrity culture. We don't really have a celebrity culture in South Africa where we are sort of emulating that celebrities are that of almost gods, if that's the right way of saying it, where they are so superior that we almost look up to them as idols and people to take advice from. I have the biggest laugh when I see celebrity sort of overseas actors and like comedians and just people in the general media telling people what to do, how to vote, how to live. People that are so far removed from the people on the streets, what their lives are like, are just giving unsolicited advice. They're like, hey, well, I think this is great advice. Let me give it to you. These are not educated people. And even some educated people still have wacky ideas. But choose nuts, the Americans will follow it. They'll be like, wow, why didn't I think of that? And they will dive head first into whatever that celebrity says, whether it makes sense or not. It is so fascinating to me, and I just hope that we do not jump on that trend, because I think we're well enough aware that not every celebrity and not every politician is very bright. I'm just going to put it out there. Not every celebrity and not every politician is very bright, and you should not base your votes, you should not base your society morals and values and norms on people that are behaving that way, on people that are extremists, on people that have no stability. You can tell when a person has stability, when they're happy in themselves, when they are not seeking attention, when they are underrated. Those are the people that I would follow. But these people that wishy-washy, one side to the other, always jumping up and down, it is too much. That is not a stable person. And much for the politicians, those are not stable people either. If a politician is making you question your neighbor, if a politician is turning you against your community, if they are making you question whether your people of other color or whether your surroundings are safe, instead of making you accountable, instead of you allowing them to be accountable, if they are distracting you from what they are doing at the top there, I would look into that. I would want to know, why are they trying to distract you? Why are they trying to manipulate you? What are they trying to cover up? Are they actually for your best interests, for the best interests of the citizens, or are they just carrying on? And you guys are just like toddling on because it sounds like great ideas and it's all mystical and magical, but it makes no sense. And I hope that our society doesn't take that on. This is including of Black Lives Matter. The Black Lives Matter movement, not the initial movement, but the extremist movement, where like I say, it's like almost matter most, the most important. No, I'm sorry. That is something that we should not be allowing to have trend. It just does not make sense that we are uplifting these citizens to be more valued than other citizens. What government would think that's a good idea? What government would support that and make you think it's a good idea to think you have more value than your neighbor? What type of a brainwashing pattern is that creating when the people who are born in the same countries, the people that are your citizens, your fellow citizens, are being turned against you? I don't think that is a political party that has your best interest at heart. I think they are trying to get you to vote and vote and vote. and maybe they're getting it right, and I would look into that, because I hope our society wakes up and realizes that sometimes that is not the way to go. And then obviously the politics, extremists, just extremists, left, right, you know yourselves how it goes. There is no middle ground. And I'm not saying there should be a middle ground, because sometimes things are black and white, but why are people literally leaning towards the nonsensical every single time? Like every single time. Just because it's trendy, just because it's hip. Like we have to almost like we have to reinvent the wheel all the time to stay on trend, to stay important. It's almost like they're distracting us from something. It's almost like they want you focused on these small, little, unnecessary things instead of focusing on what is actually happening in your community. Instead of complaining about your roads that aren't getting fixed and updated, instead of complaining about whatever might be on your mind, whatever you might want to hold them accountable for, they're rather making you complain about your fellow neighbors. And just let that sink in. Just think about that. Just something I was considering, and I was thinking I could bring it to your attention. So maybe you could consider it too. Thanks for watching.